friends, welcome to another episode of the Cozy Cottage Crochet podcast. My name is Hannah. This is a podcast all about crochet, a little bit of knitting, sometimes cross stitch or sewing, and generally living the yarniest life possible in St. Petersburg, Florida, where I live. Before we jump into the yarn content, of which there is some, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who watched and was so gracious and kind. I was really moved by the response that y'all put on the video that I posted 2 weeks ago titled I'm Not Okay. I was not at all expecting that. I mean, I expected y'all to be nice, but I was not expecting so many people to relate so deeply to what I said. I certainly was not expecting it to get the amount of views that it got. I figured it would get way less than normal because it had nothing to do with yarn. And it really, I was overwhelmed in the best way possible. There were several nasty people that I did block who did not follow the instructions of don't give me medical advice and were kind of rude about it. But overall, the comments were such an uplifting space, and it just filled my heart to the brim to know. And I'm so grateful for all of you who chose to share your stories and what you've been through and how you've related. And it just made me feel so wonderful. And it was a little overwhelming. So if you watched that video, thank you. If you commented, I read every single comment and they meant the world to me. And a couple of y'all reached out via email and via Instagram message as well. And that also meant the world to me. And if you are here because of that video and you subscribe because of that video, we have a little bit of unhinged energy here. Today, I don't know how much unhinged energy there's going to be because I am dead tired. I just put my son to sleep, and by just, I mean an hour ago, because when I was rocking him to sleep, I also fell asleep for a solid 25 minutes. It couldn't even help it. That's how tired I am. So, anyways, appreciate y'all. I'm glad you're here, and you made my life so much better. So, let's skip emotions, okay? Let's push them off until the end. There's enough emotions in my house already. I have 2 finished objects. One is a cross stitch, one is a hat. You saw both of these projects last time. In fact, I don't think I have any new projects to share with you today, but I will show you the cross stitch first. This is what it looks like. I basically put some spray adhesive on the back, put it on a piece of cardboard, and put it in a frame. This is a frame I got from Dollar Tree, and my children have attacked the frame, and now there's you can barely even see it, so I don't know why I'm pointing it out, but in real life, you can see that there's this big black mark right here because they dinged it. This says, "Oh, Suki." I explained this at length in a previous podcast. Basically, it's an inside joke between me and a friend that I've had for 15, 17 years, something like that. I was really hoping to get this finished before she was off maternity leave and back to work, but I missed it by a week. So now I have to mail it to her because I can't go see her in the middle of the week like I was going to. But it says, so last time you saw this, I think I had all of this done, I think. And then I had just the last couple letters and the red part to do. So these are supposed to look like dripping blood. I don't know. I feel like it's a little too symmetrical to look like dripping blood, but maybe not. Maybe not. For the first ever cross-stitch project that I'm going to give away, I'm pretty excited about it. I need to take a picture for posterity so I can remember, but I'm really, really happy with this. If you're a cross-stitch nerd, I'm going to say some words that may make sense to you. If you're not, please ignore the next 30 seconds. I stitched this on 16 count gray Aida. I was going to get black Aida from 1-2-3 Stitch, but they didn't have one. They didn't have it. They were sold out, so I picked gray. I picked green. These are both DMC flosses. I'm doing full cross 2 over 1. That doesn't even make sense to me. If you're not a cross stitch person, essentially that means I'm using 2 threads of DMC cotton floss over 1 square of cross stitch. And the higher you get in hole count, so this has 16 holes per 1 inch. If you get to a 32 holes per 1 inch, generally you would do 1 thread over 2 holes. And a full cross means I'm doing the entire X. So I did it. I finished it. I'm really excited. I finished it mostly while Nova was at her swimming lessons. And I just really like it. I have to pack it up. This is actually plastic. It's not glass, so I'm not too concerned about sending it through the mail. Although The mail is not very nice to fragile things, but I'm going to try and pack it up really well. I have some packing supplies I've been saving for such a time as this. I made one blip, and you can't even see it when I hold it this close, can you? But I can see it because I know where it is. There's like a weird stitch right here that goes down an extra half a stitch, and I did not even notice that it did that until I was completely done with that thread and I was not about to rip it out. You can't tell from back here, so I'm glad in my decision. Yeah, so really happy. This is my third ever finished cross stitch project. I have not put in any stitches on anything else. My Skyrim one is still the same thing. It's not even on the Q-snap right now. I finished this maybe 5 days ago, and I haven't touched my cross stitch since. I really would like to finish the Skyrim one. I don't like it when people talk about things that I can't see. So let me show you. The Skyrim one is 2/3 of the way done. This is what it looks like currently, and maybe I will leave this out entirely so that it reminds me to put it back on the Q-snap. I started it way too close to the edge up here, but it's just going to be in a frame, so I figure that's fine. I also way miscalculated the math. So it could have been, I mean, I literally have like this much left to do. So there could have been like another inch at least on the top, but again, it's just going to be in a frame. This is the first shout you learn in Skyrim, which is a video game. It's Fus Ro Da, and you just like push people across the room. And this is very much my vibe. This is my colors, this is my vibe, this is everything I love in life, and there's an angry little duck with a knife. So that is what I will go back to working on. I put this on pause so that I could finish that one for my friend for her birthday, but then I didn't get it finished in time. I mean, I definitely didn't get it finished in time for her birthday, but I also did not get it finished in time for maternity leave, her maternity leave to be over. So I'm gonna have to mail it to her, and hopefully that'll be a nice surprise and uplift her spirits. My plan is to finish the Skyrim cross stitch, and then go back to the only other cross stitch project I have on the go that will probably be the only one until it's finished, and it's quite a bigger one, at least for me. It had a teeny tiny bit of work. There's Always Money in the Banana Stand, which is a reference to a TV show called Arrested Development. I found this picture on the internet. I made a cross-stitch chart out of it, which I highly do not recommend unless you have hours of your life to waste transposing every single color into something more reasonable for cross-stitch. And this is where it's at currently. It's on sparkly blue fabric. I've got the top of the banana done, and then the banana is actually 3 colors. So I'm outlining the first color of the banana. So this has tons of stitches in it, like thousands. Oh, look at that sparkle. And my needle minder says, chasing that Scholastic Book Fair high. Nova, my 4-year-old, got to go to her first ever Scholastic Book Fair last year when they came to her school, and she brought home utter nonsense, which is, I think, what you do at the Scholastic Book Fair. And I am using this needle minder. It has thread attached. It's just not long enough to go all the way around, so it's attached on the back. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with that. And hopefully I will be able to work on that soon. Just looking at it makes me want to work on it. So yes, finished object, 3rd ever cross stitch project. You can get frames at the Dollar Tree for $1.25. And I got a bottle of spray adhesive from Michaels with a 60% off coupon that they sent to all people who were on the Joann's mailing list. And I initially had deleted that coupon because I was like, I'm not going to Michael's for anything. But I couldn't find the spray adhesive in the store that I had gone to. I think I went to like Target or Walmart or something. And so I was like, fine, I'll go to Michael's, but I'm going to use my coupon. So I dug it out of the trash bin in my email, not literally. And I used it, and it was delightful. Because I got a can of spray adhesive for like $4, and it's a huge can. So it will last many, many years. The other finished object I have is a hat. Again, a gift. This is living in a bag that I made from a pattern that came out of the Hooks and Needles subscription box. And I lined it myself. It looks great on the inside. Don't look at the seams. They are very wonky. I hand sewed them. And it's basically just like the perfect size for a 1-ball hat project. I am making this hat for a friend of mine who is going through a really, really tough health time, and she has lost all of her hair. She does not have cancer, but she is just really, really struggling with that. And it is currently 1,000 degrees in Florida with 1,000% humidity. But soon it will cool off a little bit in a couple of months. And I know that they travel up north frequently to visit her family as well. And I just want her head to be warm, okay? With some love and some yarn. I am using something out of my stash, Premier Yarns, Deborah Norville Everyday Soft Heather. This is the color Blue Heather. This I got at Joann's many years ago probably, and I've made many hats of it. And somebody, I was gonna say this is my last ball. I don't have anymore. I have this, and then I have a couple little scrap balls of the gray heather and a couple, maybe one other scrap ball of this blue. That's maybe together would be enough to make one hat, but somebody is sending me some more of this. I'm very excited. I'm very excited. It's such a good yarn to make hats with. I used the classic cuff hat pattern by Purl Soho. It is my go-to when I make hats for other people. It's just the best. I ignore all of the instructions about the cast on. They got some kind of fancy cast on in there. I just do a long tail cast on. It has never steered me wrong. And I have 4.5 millimeter Chowgu needles. This is a 16-inch. And then for the crown decreases, I have some DPNs. That is the only time you will ever catch me working with DPNs is on crown decreases of a hat, because I hate working with DPNs. I would rather do magic loop, but I find, especially at the very end, that decreasing the stitches on magic loop down to like 8 is very fiddly and finicky, and I don't always have the right stitches on the right side of the needle, etc., etc., etc. So I struggle through DPNs because it's just easier. I just don't prefer them. I prefer to knit in a circle. So the other things that I have in this bag are a tape measure, and I think I'm just going to keep this bag set up like this for the next time I want to make a hat. I have a tin, a most adorable squirrel tin from Toy Shoot Sheep. I have a pair of scissors, needle stoppers, and all of the stitch markers that I need to mark the beginning of the round, to do the decreases, and a progress keeper as well. I finished this last night. I have not washed it yet. I do need to wash it for her in like hypoallergenic soap. So it's ever so slightly stiff, but it relaxes so much. So yeah, no knots in this ball of yarn at all. I just love how the colors come up. Like the Heather colors, I need Heather to come back, right? We love her. I have woven in the ends. I'm gonna put it through the washer and dryer before I trim the little end part off. But yeah, it's just like the perfect hat. And it will drape so nicely once it comes out of the washer and dryer. I have washed and dried these hats hundreds of times. That might be an exaggeration. But I have made a bunch of these hats and washed and dried them, and they were all perfect every time. I cast on, I used Make the Largest Size. I don't know if I have a giant head or what, but I also did not switch needles. So I used 4.5 millimeter for the ribbing and for the rest of the hat, because I just didn't feel like switching needles. So you can make this the slouchiest hat ever, or you can cuff the brim. I tend to wear a pretty slouchy hat, but I like to wear a sockhead hat. But I didn't want to make something in wool because I figured it might be itchy on her head. Her head's really sensitive right now. So this is the hat that I made. I believe the size I made in that pattern, you cast on 88 stitches, but there's 2 other sizes. So it's all in there. I pretty much have the whole thing memorized. I just can never remember what number of stitches I'm supposed to count in between markers for my first decrease round. So I always have to pull up the pattern and look at that. I think it's 17, but will I remember the next time I go to make one of these? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So yes, I look at the pattern and then I just do the decreases from there. I don't even know if I do the decreases at the very end correctly. I get down to 8 stitches and then I just knit 2 together all the way around, and then I just sew the last. No, I get down to 16, then I knit 2 together all the way around, and then I just sew the last 8 closed. I don't know if they go any further with decreases than that or not, because I haven't looked at that part of the pattern in years. But I think it looks totally fine. Totally fine. So yes, this is my finished object. I like it very much. I'm going to wash it, and I'm going to see if I can get over to give it to her in person. But I have to bring both my kids with me, and that's a lot of chaos in general, but especially for someone who's not feeling well. So I may have to mail it to her. We'll see. That's all the finished objects I have. I'm very proud of both of them, and I'm really hoping that they bring that smile and lift spirits of 2 people who are just going through a lot. Let's talk about socks. I have made a tiny bit of sock progress, and then we will talk about the blanket, which is the thing that I have worked on the most in the last 2 weeks. So this sock has not had a lot of love, but it has had 2/3 of a heel, maybe half a heel. So where this marker was is where I was last time. So I did one blue stripe and I have gone through the heel. I was working on this last night as well. I think I am halfway through the heel because I just did the boomerang row on the Fish Lips Kiss heel, which if you've ever done the Fish Lips Kiss heel, you'll know what that means. And if you haven't done the Fish Lips Kiss heel, why not? It's so good. It's $1 on Ravelry and I love it. I use it for pretty much all my socks. This yarn was a gift from a viewer of this podcast named Robin. And she sent it to me because the colorway is called Little Nova. And I have a Little Nova who is not so little anymore. I have already completed one entire sock in this. And then the yarn is from Freckled Whimsy. It was a sock set years ago. This is the first one. And I kind of talked at length about what had happened with this sock last time, so I won't get too into the details, but essentially, I love it. Essentially, it wasn't supposed to have a gold toe and a stripe right here, but I decided I don't care and it looks wonderful. And it does look wonderful. Look at that. It's beautiful. Definitely needs a wash. That's because this was crocheted into a project that never got finished. So it's a little kinky, especially right through here, but that will relax out in blocking. And you can tell, I think if I hold them both up, maybe you can tell that this is a much smoother, even knit, and this one's kind of like crinkly almost. But once they're washed, you will not be able to tell at all. Just following my basic sock recipe, which currently is cast on 64 stitches on 2.25mm needles. I do 15 rounds of cuff, ribbing, 2x2. Then I do 20 rounds of cuff, except this one was longer. I want to say it was like 24 rounds. I meant to actually split this blue stripe over the heel, but I forgot because I just kept knitting. So the cuff is ever so slightly taller by like 4 rounds. So yeah, it's really, really good. I put in my Fish Lips Kiss heel. I do a rounded toe. And I use the best knitting notion of all time, the sock ruler from Twice Sheared Sheep. This is how I measure every single sock that I make. I don't count rows. I just use the sock ruler. Sock ruler is the best. Also, it's a slap bracelet. So the 90s kid in me is really happy. So yeah, I've basically done this stripe and half a heel. Hopefully I'll have a little bit more progress to share on this next time. I've got to wind this up because this has 2 balls of yarn attached, which is not a big deal, except that it keeps getting wildly tangled. Like, what is this? I don't know why. I think it's because the mini is like falling apart in its little thing because it has been abused and used so many times. So yes, I need to get through that heel so I can redo something with what's left of that gold yarn for the toe so that it doesn't tangle like that. The other sock I am working on is still the first sock in opal sock yarn. And gosh, I didn't get much on this either. Wow, that stitch marker like didn't move at all. Okay, this is opal sock yarn in the color 3678. That means anything to anybody. This is the ball. This is the colorway. It's utterly fabulous. And this is my little sock. This is the one that lives in my bag and travels with me places. So if I'm waiting to like officiate a wedding or I'm like out somewhere and I have a few minutes, this is what I'll work on. I sincerely thought that I had worked more on this, but I've literally done half an inch. So little, but it is beautiful. I really, really like this yarn. I love how it shows up on camera. Just love everything about it. I have other sock yarn lined up for more socks. Of course I do. So I want to get through these socks so that I can continue my quest of making a new drawer of socks for my post 2 baby feet. I was wearing a pair last night. I always wear my knit socks to sleep in. Yes, I know it's Florida. Yes, I know it's 1,000 degrees. I don't know why. Ever since I've had kids, my toes feel like icicles. Literally all the time. So I have been trying to make new socks. And last night I was wearing some in Christmas yarn that I got from Hobie. I think I made those last year at some point. And I just like them so much. Like they fit so well. And they're in the washing machine right now. So typically I will sleep in my socks for 2 nights and then I'll wash them again because it's not like my feet are sweating. They're ice cubes. And I probably could wear them longer than that just to sleep in. Like I don't wash my pajamas every single night that I wear them because I'm relatively clean when I go to bed. But 2 nights for the socks, I don't know. That's just what I do. What do you do? How often do you wear your knit socks to bed? Do you wash them every time? But they're in the washing machine and I'm already like, I'm gonna take them out of the dryer and I'm gonna wear them tonight when I go to bed. Yes, I am. I just really liked it. And the reason for saying all of that is I have a ball of Halloween sock yarn from Hobbii that I got in the same sale last year. I think I got 3 balls. 1 regular Christmas yarn, 1 sparkly Christmas yarn, and 1 Halloween yarn. And I want to make the Halloween pair. Will they be done before Halloween? The way my life goes, probably not. But I'll wear them all year round. I don't care. And yeah, just making those Christmas socks really makes me want to work on the Halloween ones. And Hobbii, I don't know if it's worth paying full price for their yarn or not. I've never paid full price for their yarn. I've only made 2 orders, granted. Okay, one was that sock yarn and one was something else ages ago. But I believe those sock yarns were $7 a ball for 100 grams when I bought them, which is a pretty good deal for, I could make 2 pairs of socks, maybe even 3 pairs of shorty socks out of those yarns. So the last project I have to share with you is a blanket. I am making a blanket for my daughter Nova, who has a long, long list of things that she would like me to make. The blanket is number 1 on the list. She also wants me to make her a cat, a plushy cat, and I already have the yarn picked out for that. It was in the box of yarn that I showed you from Amanda last time. So she has been bothering me about the cat, so I may have to take a break on the blanket. Find a cat pattern and make a cat. She just wants it all. And actually, last night we were cleaning her room, like actually cleaning it, not just picking it up. And she, of her own will and volition, got an entire bag full, like grocery shopping reusable bag of stuffies that she was ready to donate to someone else. And I am not going to tell her no. I think decluttering is a good thing. And a lot of things, none of them were handmade. And while some of them were gifts from people, they were things that she wasn't really playing with, or they had been on the floor in her closet, things like that. And I'm like, they could go to someone. They were all in really nice condition. But several, I think 3 or 4 of them were teddy bears. She went through a phase when she was about 2 where she was just obsessed with teddy bears. If there was any kind of stuffy, she only wanted a teddy bear. She wanted a teddy bear for Christmas one year. She sleeps still with that teddy bear, and she has my husband's teddy from when he was a child. It's a big one that she sleeps on. It's like her pillow every night. So it was so weird. I mean, I want her. She knows. She has always known who she is and what she wants. No one has ever accused her of not knowing what she wants. So I was not about to argue with her about keeping these stuffies. And none of them were like particularly emotionally attached to me. I wasn't like, I need to save some of these. But it was odd to watch her be like, I'm done with that phase. I'm a grown up now. She's not. She'll be 5 in December. But like, she was like, I no longer need these 3 or 4 teddy bears and a bunch of other stuffies that I used to play with all the time, but I don't play with them anymore. And I feel like this is just going to be a theme for the rest of my life. I'm going to be like, well, that chapter's over. But we went and we donated them and she was happy. And her room is a little less overwhelming. So how did I get on this tangent? Oh, she has a long list of things she wants me to make for her. So we're making a blanket. All out of stash yarn. It's living in a reusable shopping bag that I got in Ireland in 2018 when my husband and I went. And currently, there's only 1 ball of yarn attached. I am using the Ripple pattern from Attic 24. Attic 24 has a free pattern, many free patterns on her blog for blankets. And this is the only Ripple blanket that I've ever been able to keep track of, probably because there's only 4 stitches in between the peaks and the valleys, so I can look at it and like instantly see if I'm off. I am using the called for hook, I think, which is a 5mm, and I am using just various worsted weight acrylic yarns that I had in my stash. Last time you saw this, honestly, for as much work as I have put into this, it should be bigger. Like, I feel like it should be bigger, but these rows take me a long time, y'all. Where is my stitch marker? It's on this side. So This is where I was last time. So I have done all of this, which, I mean, that's a fair amount of crochet. But I feel like for as much as I have worked on this, it should be bigger. Ooh, my ball of yarn is falling. So what we have here is, this is Red Heart Super Saver in some kind of pink, no ball band attached. I had like basically a ball and a half of this. And then this is Caron Simply Soft, and this is Caron Simply Soft. I just finished as far as I could get with the Red Heart Super Saver because I want to be able to get 2 stripes out of each one. And I started this dark pink. This is Just Yarn from Premier, I believe. This yarn you can get at Dollar Tree. I'm pretty sure somebody sent me this yarn though, as a gift. I thought that I was gonna be able to get further with the pinks, and I'll show you why. I had this. Now I started with the Caron Simply Soft, which I think is a really nice contrast to the Red Heart Super Saver. This is shiny, this is soft, this is rough, but it'll wash out and be totally soft. It won't be a big deal. But like, my plan was to go from this into this and keep alternating. But I tried it and it looked ridiculous because this color is so close to this color that, but it's not shiny. And it just looked like something was wrong with this yarn when it was 2 rows away from this yarn. And I kind of want to keep getting darker. I don't want to then go back to a lighter color up here. So I'm basically losing, this is like 1 whole ball of yarn probably. I'm basically not gonna be able to do 1 whole ball of yarn in this blanket, which, I mean, that would have been at least this much rows. So I don't know. We're gonna have to be going into the purple a little sooner than I planned because the next 2 rows are gonna have to be purple. This is how much of the Red Heart I had left. That might be enough for 2 rows, but I wasn't really sure, and I wasn't in the mood to rip out 2 rows. Nor was I in the mood to weigh how much and do math, so I just balled it up. This is how much of this color I had left, which this was not a full skein. And somewhere in here, oh yeah, somebody did give me this. Arlene, I wrote it on the ball tag. Arlene sent me these 2 balls of Just Yarn. And this is a 60 gram ball, so I have 120 grams of that pink. I cannot find how much of that little tiny of this pink yarn I had left, but it was hardly anything, honestly. Oh, there it is. I was playing yarn chicken. Look how small it is. Oh my gosh. And maybe you can see if I hold these up together. They are the same color, but this is so much shinier and softer that it just, I don't know, I thought it was gonna be fine and it wasn't. So we're gonna have this dark color next, and I'm gonna need to go into the purples, of which I really don't have much. This is also Red Heart Super Saver. I have some Red Heart Soft, which is an entirely different bowl of purple. And then I have what will probably get 4 rows, I'm gonna guess, of this purple sparkly yarn. It's probably gonna go like this. Yeah, it'll be that color order. So we'll see how long that lasts, and then I'm gonna have to go into the blues. My goal is to not buy any extra yarn for this project. I have a lot of blue. So the blanket is going to be more blue than she wants it to be because she requested pink, purple, and blue, but mostly pink and purple, but I'm running out of pinks. So yes, it's fine. It's totally fine. I have really enjoyed working on this because it just requires not much brain power at all, like at all. And I have not messed up the ripple, which in my life is quite a miracle. So I think every single ripple I have ever made, I have given up on pretty immediately because I can't keep track. And I don't like the counting and I mess it up every time. And this one I have not messed up. So it will be totally fine. So that's where we are. I have worked on that blanket pretty much exclusively. I have worked on the cross stitch and the hat pretty much while Nova was at swim lessons. I've worked on the socks barely, as you see, and I have worked on 0 other projects. Granted, there was a time in my life a couple of months ago where I would have a little project like a sock and I would be following them around outside, knitting on that or cross stitching on that, etc. And it has been so hot. Like, we have had heat advisories. It really only gets to like where I live, which is near the coast, 93 degrees Fahrenheit, which is probably like 35-ish Celsius, something like that. But because we have super, super high humidity, like literally one of the days, my weather app said that the humidity was 91%. That's insane. So like you go outside, it's like you're swimming underwater, okay? I have not wanted to work on any projects while we've been outside. We've also been hiding inside, which makes the children crazy. We've had heat advisories because if it's 93 degrees, that's one thing. If it's 93 degrees and it's shady with a breeze, that's manageable. If it's 93 degrees and there's not a cloud in the sky and there's 90% humidity, the feels like temp is like 105, 110. It could be deadly. Like it's so hot. So our Ford air conditioner has been running overtime. The children have been going outside. Nova has been coming inside being like, it's too hot. So yeah, on top of just trying to survive life for the summer, there is 2.5 more weeks until school starts. Thank God. Thank God school is starting soon. I've got to get a couple of school supplies for Nova. Like she's going into VPK, which is the 4-year-old class, because of when her birthday is. She, I'm sure, could be in kindergarten right now with no problem, but whatever. She's going into VPK. And I need to get her a new backpack, and like, I think she has a lunchbox still from last year. So I need to like check on these things. Have I checked on them? No, I have not. I just can't seem to keep up. Like I can't seem to remember anything. I had it on my calendar on Friday that I needed to go get an allergy shot. Tangent. Let me talk to you about allergy shot drama. So I've had allergies my entire life. I'm allergic to everything. Like literally, if you have ever seen Finding Nemo, you know the seahorse that like sneezes a lot and then he's like, I'm H2O intolerant. That is me. Okay. If it's in the air, I'm allergic to it. Before I went to an actual allergist as an adult, I feel like I would get sinus infections all the time, like multiple times a year. And like where other people would get a cold and then they'd get over the cold in like 5 to 7 days, I would just get a sinus infection and I have to be on antibiotics, and that like wrecked my system for a while. And then finally I went to an allergist, and I was not ready to do allergy shots at that point because we were thinking about having kids. And so it took us a very long time to have kids. It involved miscarriages and all kinds of things. But because I was trying to get pregnant and nursing and all of this stuff, we just kind of collectively decided to wait. So he put me on like a steroid nose spray, which honestly has been a game changer for me because I was sneezing, even taking allergy pills, mind you, every single day of my life I take an allergy pill, like an antihistamine. I was sneezing like 50 times a day at the minimum, like just constantly just dying of like ragweed and grass and trees and cats and dogs and anything with fur, and like just constantly sneezing. So this nose spray, which I've been on for probably 5 or 6 years now, and I can take like the maximum amount I can take is like kind of high, but literally just one spray in each nostril every day has changed my life because I sneeze. If I go out in the sun, I sneeze, and this is my whole family does that. I don't know if you guys do this too. Josiah doesn't, but me and both of my kids, when we go out in the sun, we like squint, and then I guess it like changes the way we breathe and we start sneezing. Nova does it. Noah does it. They're babies, and I do it too. But other than that, I don't really sneeze a lot, which is like super, super helpful to my life. I have a fear of sneezing while driving and crashing my car. I used to work in auto insurance claims, and I was a trainer for a while, and I got several claims where people crashed their car because they were sneezing. So I'm like paranoid that I'm going to crash my car while I'm sneezing. So anyways, the nose spray has helped a lot. But finally, done with having babies. The shop is closed. I am not nursing. We have not done that for like a year now at this point. And so last year I proceeded with getting allergy shots, which I got almost, it was like including most things that I was allergic to that were in the air. And I got almost to the end of that. I'm now like every 3 to 4 weeks, I need to get that shot. We're on the maintenance for a while. But I was like, man, I still feel like I cannot breathe anytime I get around a dog. Why is that? Like, that part's not working. And then they were like, oh, we didn't include dog in your serum. And I was like, why not? I'm allergic to dog. And they're like, well, we don't usually unless somebody has a dog. And I was like, okay, but like everyone I know has a dog. Just because there's no dog in my house, thank goodness, or I wouldn't be able to breathe. But like, just because there's not a dog in my house doesn't mean I don't want to not start sneezing my head off and coughing and like my eyes watering when I get around a dog. Like, I can pet a dog, but I have to wash my hands afterwards. Like, if I touch a dog and then I like rub my eye or something, my whole eye will be red and like terrible for the rest of the day. So now we get to start over. I think I'm like 5 shots into like 50 of them or some nonsense. And so I can get one every like 4 days, I think. But of course, these are only business days, et cetera, et cetera. So I was like, oh, I was so good at it when Nova was in school. I was like, I went the same day, every single week. I was like, I didn't have a problem remembering. But now I have missed shots multiple times this summer, which is just another like, another symptom of the fact that I can't remember anything and I'm like scattered. My brain is like a scrambled egg, but not in a good way, not in a delicious, fluffy cloud way. It's like one that's been cooked too long. Like that 70s show, which it's not even on anymore. This is like dating myself. But the intro to that 70s show is like eggs being fried. This is your brain. Yes, except mine are scrambled and hard and crispy around the edges, but not in a good way. So I've missed a couple of shots. I had a reminder set on my phone to make sure that I got a shot on Friday. Did I get a shot on Friday? No, I didn't. I looked at it and I was like, yep, I got to do that today. And then promptly forgot it. So I was then going to do it on Monday. Did I remember on Monday? No. Did I remember on Tuesday? No. I happened to be texting a friend this morning and she was like, oh, I have to get my allergy shot today. And I was like, for the love. So do I. So yeah, I got stabbed in the arm. Gosh, if only I could remember things, my life would be so much easier. I do finally have a little bit of movement on my low iron situation because what happened was, I'm going to recount this in case you're new here, but basically my iron is super low. It's supposed to be like 15 to 100, whatever the count is, and I'm like a 9. It's super low. And my doctor prescribed some iron supplements. They caused problems. So I quit taking them because problems. I don't want to get into that right now, but it was not comfortable. And so I went back and she was like, okay, you need to see a hematologist. They can talk to you about getting an iron infusion. Awesome. She gave me a referral to a hematologist, one that was upstairs in the same building. Perfect. So I called them the same day I got the referral. They were like, awesome. This is the doctor you'll probably see. He handles most of that. We will review your records. We'll give you a call in a few days. It's holiday weekend. This was before July 4th. We'll call you next week. Okay. Did they call me next week? No. Did I remember to call them? No. I finally called them like a week and a half later and they were like, oh, we haven't looked at your records yet. And I was like, okay, well, are you going to? I understand that low iron is not that big of a deal compared to other blood disorders like cancer and like there's so many things that are like more life-threatening than low iron, but like this is a big deal to me to not be able to pick myself up off the floor because I'm that tired. So can you give me some idea of when he's going to look at them? And they were like, no, I don't know. He's been really swamped. And even if he looks at it this week, we don't have any appointments until the end of September. And I was like, it's the middle of July. That's 2.5 months. What? So I called my doctor and I was like, do you have anyone else that you recommend? And they were like, no, we don't have a list of hematologists. You can just Google and then see if your insurance takes them. And I was like, literally, this is one of the reasons healthcare is so annoying in the United States. So I did in fact Google, and I also asked in the Facebook moms group, and then somebody recommended this particular place, and I called them and they were like, yes, we can get you in. We can get you in next Friday. Just make sure you get your records sent over. So that has required 4 phone calls, and I'm not sure my records are there still. I'm going to have to call them again in the morning. I have 2 alarms set on my phone to make sure that I get that done, but I hopefully will see the hematologist. Well, I will see the hematologist this Friday, but I hopefully won't need to see them again because they don't have my records. So fingers crossed, what the ideal situation would be is for me to see the hematologist on Friday, for him to schedule me an infusion so that I can get my iron levels up, so I can finally stop feeling like a blobfish. I mean, I literally was just rocking Noah to sleep and I fell asleep. He fell asleep immediately because he was tired. He's growing. I also fell asleep for 20 minutes, just like lost that amount of time. And yeah, I would really like to feel better. So it's moving, but just everything moves so slowly. So that's one thing that's happening. Did we cover everything? My iron is low. It will hopefully be fixed. School is starting soon. And I have not done a ton of crochet. I mean, I feel like I've done a ton of crochet. Just hasn't equated in it looking like I've done a ton of crochet. Because it's all been on that blanket. My shirt, if you'd like to see it, very apropos for today. It's a skeletons. It says never better. So yeah, I've got, what do I have? I have a meeting tonight. I've got to think about dinner. I don't even know what tomorrow is. Oh, Friday is not our actual anniversary, but it's the day that we're celebrating our anniversary. My husband and I, my parents are going to come over and they're going to spend the night with our kiddos, and we are going to be gone for less than 24 hours, maybe like 18 hours. We're going to go get a hotel and stay the night alone. And people are going to be like, what are you going to do with your freedom? We're probably going to sleep. We're going to eat a meal that is hot without being interrupted 70 times. We are going to get coffee in the morning and drink it while it's hot. We're not going to do anything exciting, but we are going to go celebrate our anniversary because on July 31st, which is next week, we will have been married 14 years. That's wild. Our marriage is a teenager, y'all. Of course, I was just talking to some friends of ours and they've been married for 57 years. So, we've got a ways to go. But in my opinion, 14 years that's quite an accomplishment. I genuinely like him and love him and like want to hang out with him. Like, I'm so excited to just go get some time where we can just talk to each other, because I feel like that never happens. We're like really excellent roommates managing children. And then every once in a while we get to be husband and wife, which is not often because we're both so tired at the end of the day. So I'm just really delighted to be able to spend one night away from this house in an entire year. And I'm really grateful for my parents for coming over and doing that, because they live an hour away and they're going to be coming after a long day of work too. And like, I'm so appreciative of that. I feel like I've been talking 100 miles an hour. And maybe we should all just be like, it's fine. Everything's fine. The baby's probably going to be awake soon. It's already 2 p.m. And so I should probably get this edited and uploaded as soon as possible. So I don't know. This is a very chaotic episode. I love you all. Thank you so much for being here. Please leave me a comment below, especially like, what are you working on? What are you excited about? Are you surviving the summer? Are you okay? Are we all okay? Are we gonna make it? These are the questions I have. Tell me something. Talk to me in the comments below, because I read every single one. I try to respond to every single comment because this is like a conversation. I feel like you came over and we are just chatting like the friends that we are about our lives and things. And I don't want to chat to nothing. Like, it's not nothing on the other side. You're on the other side, and I want to know about you too. So I really appreciate you being here. I so appreciate the love and support that y'all gave me in the last podcast episode. And I will never forget that. That was really meaningful to me. And honestly, the few people that I had to block, I don't even think are like regular viewers of this podcast. Like, there were so many of you who were like, I have been here for so long and I know all about it. And this is how I was raised. This is my experience as a kid. This is the anxieties I struggle with. This is the neurodivergence I struggle with. And like this, it was so validating is not the right word, but like, I can't think of the right word. it was so refreshing and so like a tide that lifts a boat. Like I feel like y'all, oh no, crying. I feel like y'all just lifted me up, and I really, really appreciate that because I really needed it more than I even realized. So yeah, I'm gonna stop. I can't deal with crying right now. Okay, there's nothing wrong with crying. I'm already so tired, and the crying is gonna make me even more tired. So until I see you again, happy crafting. Be kind to yourself, and I will see you next time. Bye, friends.